If you or someone you know is new to a relationship with Jesus, NewChristian.com, the online ministry of New Christian Life Ministries, provides training and resources to build that relationship. They help with life coaches, study guides, workbooks, and a newsletter geared to help people to a life of spiritual fitness, the way a personal trainer helps you with your physical fitness. Here's Jim Hall from NewChristian.com.
My name is James Hall. My ministry is entitled New Christian Life Ministries. I'm a U.S. missionary with the Assemblies of God, and I travel around the country doing training seminars in local churches. The vision of the ministry is to mobilize rank-and-file Christians to build relationships with non-believers, lead them to Christ, and then continue that relationship with discipling them until they are walking with Christ and able to disciple someone else. My particular role is to provide training for church members and local pastors of local churches to lead their congregations, encourage them, provide tools. I've written resources to place in their hands to train them, and also manuals for a new believer to go through with the help of a discipler. I also try to model what I preach and teach, and so I'm always looking for ways to build relationships as well. I was involved in campus ministry, university ministry for several years, and then as a pastor for 9.5 years, and began to recognize that what seemed like the weakest area of ministry for churches and all kinds of outreach organizations and ministries was what happens to the brand new believer. We sometimes show a non-believer more attention than we do a new believer. We figure, well, they're safe now, they're in the fold, and so here's meetings they can go to, classes they can attend, books they can read, and we kind of turn them loose to function on their own. And my calling is to fill that gap, to provide individualized personal encouragement from an established Christian to help the new believer in their walk with Christ. There's a church in Manchester, New Hampshire that have used my materials for several years. They've discipled over 300 people one-on-one over a 9-year period. They planted 2 churches out of the church. They grew from 170 to 600 in 6 years, and then since the last few years have done the church plants. They've had several examples of how this can work. A 6-year heroin addict that committed his life to Christ and was discipled, and then he felt he kind of dropped out of the process, but his discipler wasn't content to give him up and came back with him, and he restarted. Took him 15 months to get him established, but he's strong in the Lord now. He's discipling others, and saved his family, saved his job, and he's just a very committed believer. So real transformation is the goal, and we've seen a lot of that for believers who have been in the faith for years but were never discipled and needed grounding, especially brand new Christians who don't quite know what to do now, how to relate to an invisible God that doesn't talk out loud, and having someone walk alongside of them and bring them to the scriptures, the milk of the word, and hold them accountable, celebrate their progress, and encourage them to keep going. And seeing those become disciplers had good results of the new believer who was discipled, then becoming a discipler, and oftentimes people they discipled then disciple others. And it's really a demonstration of Jesus' words to teach them to do whatsoever I have commanded you. I love the most about what I do is seeing changed lives and hearing about them. There's lots of people that make commitment to begin and then don't seem to follow through, but when you see the relationship taking, you see their countenance changing, the lights get brighter in their eyes, and they begin to talk about how God is working in their life and how their values, their relationships are changing. That's the treasure, that's the reward, is to see changed lives.